Thanks for logging on to myfoxhurricane.com. Still watching this Invest 91, and this is it's a small storm or a small disturbance, and it's very slow moving. So that's why we're going to be talking about this for really an extended period of time. And normally each day you're starting to get a little bit more clarity on what's going to happen. Not with this one, because really nothing's really changed with this. In fact, the computer models, instead of becoming more excited, more impressed with this and developing it more, well, they're doing the opposite. A lot of the models really tending to fade this away, and I think you'll see why, because right now you do see some of that dry air that's in and around the system. You are seeing some convection with this, but overall it still remains very disorganized, limited convection, and you're seeing yet more of that Saharan dust working its way out into the Atlantic. Here's a closer view of the visible satellite loop overlaid with the computer model winds, and right here, this is the area that we're looking at. And if you hadn't been tracking this for many days, you might really have a hard time even spotting this because it's very limited. There's just not a whole lot going on. And as you're seeing some of those storms trying to develop, what happens is they just mix right into all that dry air. So that is really inhibiting this storm. It probably has two main things that are going against it right now, because the dry air and then because of the slow movement with this. Number one, it's not getting away from that dry air, but it's also is not moving and really taking advantage of warmer water. It tends to upwell some of that warmer water, so it just doesn't have as much warm water to deal with. So you're looking at that forecast uncertainty as we go through the next several days. This is looking at the GFS ensembles, and what you're looking at here, it looks like just a mess, and that's exactly what it means, because we've got model runs going this way, we've got some going here, we have some here, we have some that are way back here, because it's basically dissipating. And what that is telling us is the models, they're all over the place because there's just no certainty on what may happen with this, because more and more of the models are indicating this could just fall apart. It not be anything, or it may become a tropical depression, or it may become a tropical storm. I can tell you at this point, nothing's really at this point developing a whole lot past that until you get some of the models that carry it a bit further on towards the north. So if it can survive all of this and then somehow keep itself together as a tropical depression or a tropical storm, it may eventually work its way into an environment where it can begin to flourish a little bit, but really it's got a long ways to go until we see anything like that happen. I mean, we could be sitting here next week saying, hey, this thing just fell apart. So that is certainly a possibility as well. You're looking at the Fox model here, and again, you're seeing that very limited development. But as far as some of the models, we do have models going more towards the north. The Fox model has been trending a little bit further to the south, but keeping this a very limited system. The other thing that you notice, you're seeing a lot of that dry dust with this, and so that will continue to plague this system, it looks like, as we go through the weekend and into next week. You're looking at that peak winds, and there, we were looking at this a couple of days ago, and we were seeing some of these winds maybe gusting up into the 60-mile-an-hour range. You're not seeing that anymore. It's really backed off on this system. So maybe we're seeing some winds gusting up to about 30, 35 miles an hour, and that is just about it. So again, that is telling us this system, if it's going to develop, is going to take quite some time. And it's still, here we are, Wednesday of next week, and it is just reaching these islands. So we're a long ways off from anything happening. Here we're looking at the European AI, and more of that peachy color, and then we have the GFS. And there, it's hard to pick out, but there's that weak area, that disturbance working its way across the Atlantic. Here we are on Tuesday, and you notice the GFS is showing something, not much, but it's showing it. The European and the European AI, basically, they're not showing anything. And we continue through Wednesday, and we still have that same trend where only the GFS is picking up and holding on to some sort of a system here, because the other models, the European and the European AI model, they are basically done with this model. So we're going to have to wait and see how this plays out over the weekend, and we'll just continue to watch this very closely, see how this dry air and some of the sea surface temperatures play out over the next several days. We'll keep you updated right here on myfoxhurricane.com.